Hello and welcome to another exciting video on Microsoft Office Excel 2010. Today's video is going to cover some formatting things, not very difficult, but just a little above and beyond what we did in the last project. Things such as multiple lines in one cell, column widths, which I've talked about it, but I just want to review again, and things such as themes and margins. We'll probably also go over the different views you can have and probably even headers and footers here at the end. So let's get going. First off, putting multiple lines in one cell is pretty easy. There's actually a couple different ways of doing it. We'll do the first way. If I want to do Wilmington High School in cell B2, and I'm going to put Wilmington on the first line. On the second line, I want to put high school. I would simply hold down my Alt key, ALT key, which is right next to the space bar, and hit enter. It will automatically give me another line, and then I can put in high school, CHOOL, and hit enter, and then you will see that I have two lines in one cell. That was Alt plus enter, just to reiterate, Alt plus enter. Another way of doing it, and we're going to do the same thing, Wilmington. Oops, don't know how to type today. Sorry, folks. Wilmington. And I'm just going to go ahead and keep typing. So if I did that, and then I clicked off of it and then reselected it, I can right-click, go down in the shortcut menu to Format Cells, select that. A new window will pop up. It is the Format Cells window. Hopefully it'll pop here momentarily. There it is. On this window, I would select my Alignment tab, and under Text Control right here, one of the options is Wrap Text. Select that and click OK, and it will automatically do the same thing. The thing about the second way is it will adjust to the column width. The first way, just hitting Alt-Enter, basically it's going to stay in those two lines with Wilmington on the first line and high school on the second line. The second way, if I stretch it out a little bit, let's go a little bit farther, you will see the high school moved up. All right, because that way it's going to wrap text. It's kind of like text wrap in Microsoft Word. Same type deal. It just depends on how big the column is. So that is putting multiple lines in one cell. All right, hopefully that's pretty easy. I just covered column width, not knowing it as we were going over that. Changing column widths, basically you take your cursor, put it in between the two columns, say B and C. You will see that double arrow. You click down and drag left or right. The other way of doing it is just by double clicking. If you double click, it will do what is called best fit. So it will increase or decrease the size of the column depending on the largest entry in that column. The rows are the same way. Basically, you just go on the line in between the numbers instead of letters, and you can drag up or down. So that is column widths. Pretty easy stuff, not a big deal there. Now, as I talked about earlier, I wanted to talk about themes and margins and things like that. Pretty easy to do a theme. Theme basically is predefined colors and fonts and all that stuff. If you go to Page Layout tab, click on that, and it'll pop up here in a second. A little lag time. My computer is like most of you students in the morning. Takes a little time to get going. And over on the left hand side, the first option you have is themes. So we click that, click the drop down. Once the drop down is clicked, you have all these different types of themes which have color schemes, different fonts, depending on what you're doing. It also carries over to charts and all that sort of thing. So you can choose, any kind you want. You even have some from office.com. Basically, they are downloaded ones. Okay, so it's pretty self-explanatory, and basically you would select whatever you want. As I'm moving around, you can kind of see in the background how my numbers are changing and things are changing depending on what you want. Let's just, for giggles here, I'm going to choose Austin. All right, you'll see how my font changed from the normal Calibri to Century Gothic. All right, so it's a little bit different font, but that is where your themes are. Now, also in Page Layout, if I want to go back there, is your margins. Okay, so you could click down and then you have your margins, top, left, bottom, right, header and footer. Header and footer usually is, as you know from Microsoft Word, is at the top or bottom of the page. So you want to make sure you leave room for your header and footer, so you don't want to change that. If you do want to change to a custom margin that is not listed here at one of these, you can click on that and the margin window will pop up. We're not going to get into that right now, but that is where it's at, just so you know. You can also change the orientation here from portrait, which is up and down, to landscape, which is longer left and right. Again, that is up to you depending on the spreadsheet you are using and what the book calls for or what I myself call for if we are doing a project. And that's about it for margins and orientation. While we're here, let's talk about headers and footers. Okay, we're going to go down here all the way down by your clock. Okay, you're going to see the 3 view buttons. We're in normal view right now. Then you have page layout view and you have page break preview. We're going to go to page layout. Okay, you want to click that middle one and your view is going to change a little bit. Okay, you still have the cells and everything, but up on top it says click to add header. If you click in that, you'll be able to type into it, and I'm going to type Mr. Meissen. All right, and then from here, once you have entered your full header, if you want to enter something on the left-hand side, you can click onto the left. If you want to enter something on the right-hand side, you can click on the right, whichever. All right, but once you are done, you want to click into one of your cells below the header, then go back down and click normal view, and you will go back. Remember, you are not going to see the header or the footer until you look at the print preview or you actually print. So that is basically how to do a header footer. The other way is pretty simple also. If you click on File, go to Print, and then down on the bottom you will see where it says Page Setup. You want to click Page Setup and then go to Header Footer, and then you can go to Custom Header or Custom Footer and fill your name in. So if I want to do custom header, you will see my name's already in there from when I just did it the other way. So either one of those ways is fine with me. It does not matter. While I'm here, I'll also show you the page setup window. You can do margins, which we already talked about. This is the window that would pop up if you went to custom margins. You also have a tab here called Sheet. Okay, you want to click on that. This is how you could print your actual grid lines, those gray lines on your page. If you wanted to print those, you can print them right there. Okay. The other part about margins, I almost forgot to tell you. If you click on margins and you set them, you can also center your spreadsheet on the page, vertically and horizontally right here on the margins tab. And that's about it on margins. So we're just going to click cancel and we're going to go back to our spreadsheet. So the only other thing I really have to cover in this demonstration would be conditional formatting, which is kind of a cool little piece here for those of you that are more visual when you are looking at a spreadsheet. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to select cell F2. We are going to auto sum those two. So I know it seems pretty easy, but I'm just trying to do this fairly quickly. All right, so now we have answers to all those. Now I want to put conditional formatting in this range. So conditional formatting basically means I want something to happen when a certain criteria is met. And in this case, we're going to do greater than 20. So any number in this range that is greater than 20, I'm going to format these cells in a certain way. So we're going to go up to conditional formatting here. And we're going to go to new rule because it is a new rule. I'm going to click on that. Now we're going to select the rule type of format only cells that contain, because we're only looking for that. We're not looking for any variations. We're not looking for high-low value or anything like that. We only want to look for format only cells that contain. So that's our second option. We're going to click that. Now, format only cells with. Now, if you click that drop down, it gives you a couple different options. Cell value, specific text, date. We're going to click cell value. And then it says between is the default. If you click that, we're going to do greater than. Okay, and then it says you can put in a cell, or I'm just going to put the number 20. All right, so there is our range, or there is our criteria. So we want a cell value greater than 20. So in this range, any cell value greater than 20, and then it says how do we want to preview the format? And we're going to change the fill. So you click format, and you can change the font, you can change a border, or you can change the fill. And we're going to change the background to red. Okay, and how about we change the font to yellow? All right, and then we click OK after we've made our choices, so it'll come out looking like that. So any value greater than 20 is going to come out with a red background and yellow font. So when we click OK, we have two numbers that are over 20, which is really cool because if you are a visual person and you just want to take a look at a quick spreadsheet and say, okay, what numbers are we in the red at? Meaning we owe money or something like that, you can take a look and just look at the red ones. And the nice thing about using the cell references to do the formula, if I were to change this 10 to say 3, because it was a mistake, somebody put it in wrong, I hit enter, all of a sudden that becomes 19 and that's no longer red. So it automatically calculates all that for you in the very split second that you put it in and hit enter. Okay, and that's conditional formatting, pretty easy. The last thing I am going to tell you about is the different print options you have, or print views I should say. This, what you're looking at right now, is called the values view or results view. Okay, it basically shows you all the numbers and the results from your formulas. There is what's called a formulas view. If you hold down your control key and hit your accent key, which is to the left of the number 1, you will see what I am seeing now, which is the formulas. It still gives you the numbers that you've put in, but it shows the formulas instead of the results. So this function, actually, it's not a formula, it's a function, equals sum d2 to e2 shows me exactly what was entered. So there might be a time in this chapter where I say I want you to upload the formulas version of your worksheet instead of the results version. Okay, so I want to make sure you are using the formulas you're supposed to be using. So please be warned that I might ask you to do this version. Again, it is control accent mark. The accent mark is to the left of the number 1 on your keyboard. So control accent mark turns it on, control accent mark turns it off. And that's about it for this demonstration. Again, I covered multiple lines in one cell. Conditional formatting, we reviewed column widths and talked real quick about margins, overall margins and themes, and just some different formatting things, and also headers and footers. As always, if you have questions, please ask or go ahead and email me. Thanks, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.